I can think of a pretty dang good descriptor for how I feel right now. 5 days out. It's freaking cold, man. I'm dying in here. I got long sleeve shirt, hoodie, and winter jacket, plus some gloves before the actual car manages to heat itself up. But yeah, time for an early lift and cardio session. I almost feel because it's not like I'm waiting for later in the day, like in a bulking phase, to get 5 or 6 full big meals in and then have a hard training session. I'm gonna be sort of low on carbs and everything else regardless. So at least in these last few weeks of this dieting phase, sometimes it feels a little better to get the lift done first and then save the second session as just purely cardio. But plan for this morning, back, and it'll be a simple one. I'm talking pull downs, I'm talking rows, I'm talking pullovers, and honestly that will probably be it. Nothing really fancy there, because what am I really aiming for? And it's not rhetorical, of course. A back pump, some back stimulation, but nothing too wild. And I definitely do not want to freaking tweak anything. So no 2 plates slapped on the side of the stack or anything too wild like that. Just a lot of lighter squeezing stuff, which frankly I've got a much more open mind to than I used to, and I think that is a good thing, right? Let's say you come into the gym and you're a little more ego-ish, meat-headed in your approach, and it's always as much weight as possible, as it's just nasty in the head. It's like, shit, man. Not only is that potentially not the greatest way to go about it, I'm not going to say it's awful or anything. I mean, we've seen guys get pretty big doing all sorts of training styles, but you kind of just have a limited approach, right? You're boxing yourself into one style. And anybody that does, if you have to make sure all of your reps are executed the exact same way, like slow with a perfect squeeze and a 1-second hold and a 2-second eccentric, and every set that you do is always like the same monotonous, just basically execution on repeat no matter which movement you do, I just don't think that's the right way to go about it, And not only that, but I mean, each muscle group individually is going to benefit from, I think, a slightly different training style. It depends on the guy, of course, right? Some guys have certain just genetic components that make some muscle groups just blow up. I mean, we've all seen the dudes where their tricep looks like it's the size of an open bodybuilder, but then they got the men's physique build for their actual torso and everything else, or where it's some guy with absolutely insane tree trunk legs, but he's kind of lacking on the top side. When there's situations of imbalances like that, I'm not necessarily inclined to think, man, that guy is somehow the greatest quad trainer that there has ever been, the way that his workouts just must be 5 times more effective at stimulating his quads. It's like, some guys just have it better. It's a luck of the draw type situation there. But what I'm getting at is, it's like with something like legs or quads specifically, I'm going to go about it in a kind of a different way than I would something like buys or definitely side delts. So I think all I'm trying to say there is, don't get too close-minded with your workouts. And if you're a bit more open, then you're also much more fluid to be able to respond to different sort of situations. Right? Let's say you were coming into the gym and you've got lat pull downs on your mind. That's your plan. That's set number 1. Pull downs. You've seen your workout so clearly. You visualized it, and then you roll in, and apparently Wednesday is now National Back Day. Full gym's packed. All the pull downs are taken, and there's guys already waiting to work in. So it's like, what are you gonna do? Wait for 20 minutes for one to open, or say, all right, well, whatever. I thought I was going to do pull downs first, but instead let's start with some rows. Instead, let's start with some whatever. And I'd say a little more importantly, I actually just saw a clip of a guy where he did a set of squats hurt himself. But before he did the set, he actually had a bit of like a self-reflection sitting in front of the rack. I wonder if the guy knows that I'm referencing him. But he's like, yeah, you know, I feel something. Something feels off. I feel like I might have tweaked something. I think we're still good to squat. I think we're still good. Let's keep going. And then the guy, you know, pulls something in his adductor, his hamstring or something. So when injury is, let's just say, at a potential, right? You're doing bench and your shoulder's a little. You're not. Nothing's hurting, but you're like, you know, you just got something might be going on, or maybe you're doing pull downs and you feel a little something in your armpit where your lat ties into your upper arm, or maybe your knee is just a little wonky today, and you know you had it in your mind like, I'm going to do some heavy leg press, right? Those warning signs, they're there for a reason, and if you're receptive enough to listen to them, then you can minimize your risk of unnecessary tweaks. You know, there is certainly not an argument, but an observation to be made that, like, shit, man, if you're working out, you're going hard, you're going reasonably heavy, there's always risk for injury. It could just happen out of nowhere. I mean, we've seen, like, the most, we've seen guys training perfectly smart, perfectly fine. You never know. That's just life, right? A damn meteor could hit me in the Camry right here, and that could be the end of the story. You never know. But if in your warm-up process, in your come-up process, you know, maybe you pick something up weird in your day earlier in the week and you can tell something's just a little, just be receptive to that. And I think my ability to do that has actually begun to improve over this last year or so, because relative to, you know, all the time that I've been training, at least recently, breaking past the 200-pounder mark, my rate of injury has decreased, and I want to see that rate approach and maintain a level of 0, because every time I tweak something and pull something, I'm just being a total freaking fool. It sucks. So I'd rather keep taking my steps forward, take no steps back. But I think that's all I gotta say there. Key theme: don't hurt yourself. But let's just get in there and get this back day started. Let's. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, it feels sweet. Actually, freaking 2 more right here. Yeah, one more of these. And I really can't stress enough, at least for me, to do pullovers like this with the one arm at a time, I can feel my lat way deeper. Like your lat ties in all the way down to like a little bit of a point, right sort of at the bottom of your rib cage, or I guess it depends on where your lats insert, right? But for me at least, when I do one instead of both, I can actually feel it totally tense all the way down to here, like right at the bottom. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go back to double arm except for the occasional like superset of pre-exhaust. But one more. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get some rows going. Right freaking here. Because I'm not going so heavy, this stack will be enough weight. I gotta grab a bench though. It'll be seated rows, not standing. This will be good right here. Slightly converging because I'm pulling the cables kind of inward as well as toward my torso. But yeah, very light, only half the stack in each hand. And this will be very similar to, well, kind of how a lot of my sets have been. Good hold, slow, and then after, I think maybe, honestly, maybe even just one of these, probably more like two, I think a set of pull downs, extra wide grip a little later, maybe a little nastier, will be, well, a potential finisher. We actually have to get there before I decide that. All right. All right. Yeah. 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 Okay. One more. One stinking more of these. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Let's finish with some pull downs, and I think that'll be it. I'm getting excited for this pose down though. Feel extra pumped. Plus, since I haven't really eaten much, got a trim stomach. Okay. Let's pose down. And then I got some cardio to do, god dang it. So, nothing too wild lift-wise, but I have a sneaking suspicion that the pump itself will, well, let's just say it won't follow suit. So let's see how we're looking after, what was that total? 3 sets of pullovers, 2 sets of seated cable row, and then that sort of pull down finisher. That's about right. Oh my gosh. Oh. Actually, I can adjust this door so I can see my own reflection. Make sure I'm got the sweet spot. Yeah, maybe like right here. Oh my gosh. Oh. So, not that I'm, full of carbs right now anyway, but I'm essentially beginning to really flatten out. And over the course of these coming days, I'll get a bit lighter, be in a perfect state to get extra dry, and then the pressure's off, at least in terms of a essentially dieting restriction kind of thought process. Because once check-ins are over, I can have some extra carbs, start grubbing on, within moderation, of course, carb up, and I'll get ready for Thursday. But good lift, only one more left tomorrow. Then I'm gonna go camp out on the cardio bike for a minute. All right, I've said it 1 quadrillion times. I'll say it probably at least one more right now. But there is a certain zen that comes with sitting in the car on a cold morning or a cold night. No discrimination there. After a good lift, plus some cardio, you turn the heat on, I did it. That was actually the word I was going to fall back asleep. It's so freaking early. But no, not yet. So that is definitely what today will consist of, though. Just kind of laying about. This is, And I thought I was feeling a little lazy sometimes when all I would do is focus on, like, getting meals down, bulking-wise, and the training. Yeah, not exactly. Because now, sheesh, I'm really trying to do anything I can to keep myself distracted from wanting to go to the kitchen and just get grubbing. Because it's I'll tell you this much, it's a slippery slope. Once you catch yourself standing up in the pantry, you're holding on to your, sleeve of rice cakes. You have 2 of them. You're like, all right, 16 grams of carbs down the hatch. What's 8 more? What's 8 more? All right, well, there's only 2 left in this half of the sleeve. What am I going to leave? Just 2 of them? And before you know it, dude, shit. 60 grams of carbs down the hatch, which isn't really like a lot, but in the context of sort of the level of scarcity I'm at now, that's it's enough to take into consideration, so I'll just keep rewatching Hunter x Hunter and maybe try to nap around a little bit, maybe go into a sort of a not manic, but like maybe a little cleaning phase and go through my whole office and run through some stuff. I got a bunch of just random drawers full of, not like trash or anything, but just random stuff, totally unorganized. Maybe I'll do some of that today. But this puts me at, I think this is 4 days out. So I was planning on doing chest tomorrow, but I don't know, it might, not totally sure, because I don't want to, you wouldn't want to work out up till show day, right? You're kind of stressing out your system, giving yourself some inflammation, and it's going to make it a bit hard to actually be able to pull water and everything else. It's like, you do want to be in a relaxed state of being. So, I don't know. This might have actually been the last lift. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. For the Vegas show, I did 1 lift 3 days out, and it was all right. But it was kind of interesting during the pump up phase, because we had a bunch of bands and backstage and everything. Going from the pre-judging earlier in the day to the evening final show. I could tell even just from doing those cable curls with the band, minuscule weight at all, just getting a little bit pumped up. I could feel my biceps were still a little fatigued from just earlier. So I guess we'll see. I'll definitely still do a little bit more cardio tomorrow, at least 30 minutes for sure. But yeah. So I wonder if I should even do another 30 later today. I probably still will. But yeah, no, there's not really much more work to be done. Like the actual process of the getting into competition shape, level leanness, that's already over. Really, it's just making keeping things in tune for the next couple of days. Getting ready to get some music on and run through some shots, and then back to bulking. So for you, I guess for you it's Monday, man. Shit, get this week started off right. Hopefully you had 30 minutes of a certain activity, which requires either some pedaling, some stepping, potentially some stair ascension. I think we both know what I'm talking about there. But yeah, I'm ready for the cold to be over. But summertime is still quite a ways away, so I can be patient. I can be freaking patient. Now I know I got a couple cats waiting for breakfast, so they yeah, shit. I forget how many calories they're all eating. I think they're all on like 300-400 calories a day. No, maybe. I can't remember. The nutrition facts on the food tins for the cats are not so descriptive as the ones that we get. There is no. I think the FDA draws the line when it comes to the cat food. I would be curious though. I mean, anytime I see a freaking nutrition label, I'm inclined to take a glance, just out of straight curiosity. But I gotta go home, get back to. Actually, I'm probably gonna freaking go back to sleep. Maybe not all the way in bed, but maybe a couch nap post lift will do me good. So I will see you for whatever 3 days out brings tomorrow. So see you then.